This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
My countrymen and my friends, I had hoped against hope that some miracle would prevent a devastating war and bring to an end the invasion.
This most serious threat World Wrestling Federation has ever known.
The long-term future of sports entertainment could change forever.
A succession of actual wars have shaken the entire world and have threatened to bring on the gigantic conflict, which is today, unhappily, a fact.
No force of nature and no act of God could stop this invasion from happening.
I have said not once but many times that I have seen war and that I hate war.
This is our last chance.
There's no going back. There is no tomorrow. They want to finish us off.
Feel this moment for the rest of your life.
This war is only half over, and it could damn well be lost.
We're laying it all on the line.
Nothing can stop the WCW and ECW.
Austin is going to lead us into invasion.
Lift up your heart. All will come right.
We will kick WCW and ECW's.
No WWF superstar is going to deny us from our destiny.
Dad, the sports entertainment.
I have seen war and I hate war.
Place to Be Nation. Welcome back to another episode of Nation Invasion. This is episode 20 tonight. And tonight we are covering Raw September 17th, 2001 and SmackDown September 20th, 2001. And after a touching tribute on September 13th, 2001 from Houston, like President Bush said, it's time to get back to our ways. And tonight we are getting back to the storyline aspect of this invasion tonight as we are heading into Unforgiven. But as always, I have a guest with me tonight. You know him on the Backbone. He has a podcast called Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW, and is affiliated with other podcasts as well. That is Scott Shifflett. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, Gruney, I'm glad to be back here. You know, I think last time I was here was right before King of the Ring, I want to say. Glad to be here. Way to give me like the saddest Raw and SmackDown ever after that. Like, like I wasn't even thinking. Like I turned it on to watch and I'm like, oh shit, I know exactly what these are. But no, glad to be back, James. You're doing a great job. Episode 20. I can't believe you're already 20 episodes in. Great job, buddy.
I know. I'm surprised too. For a short two spans, it's lasted 20 episodes, and we're just gonna keep on charging through this.
Exactly. And there's some things that happen we'll get to tonight that of people that I've forgotten that were in the WWF.
Yeah, and I think tonight we're really going to understand where the WCW superstars and ECW superstars stand on who's being used and who's not. But a lot of that has changed, like especially after July. We don't see a lot of the WCW enforcers being used as much as WWF established guys who are already in the alliance. Like I've gone over it a lot of times over the past weeks, and it's just getting worse and worse for some of the WCW superstars. But some of the ECW guys who are coming in from ECW to WWF are getting a very big rise to stardom here, Scott.
Yeah, they really are. And, you really see how small the alliance was with the WCW people. When on SmackDown, they had Austin talking in like the cafeteria, and it was like 10 or 12 people. And I was like, holy shit, that was the alliance.
Yeah, I think it's even worse. They were in a cafeteria. They had no actual locker room space.
Yeah, but we'll get to that issue with the hat on SmackDown. So.
Oh yeah. Yep. So let's dive into Raw This is Raw from September 17th, 2001. We are live in Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Gaylordsville Arena, I think, or like center. It's one of those two. And not much has changed because I was watching a Smackdown from Nashville 2000, and it's the same background as it was like a year later in 2001. So very popular area in Nashville there.
Yeah, Gruney, you've been there. Like when you were in Nashville with us for SummerSlam a couple years ago, that's downtown, that's Broadway, and the only thing that's changed around there is like more buildings, of course. But the Bridgestone Arena used to be called the Gaylord Entertainment Center, as you said, which I didn't even know because I moved there. I moved here 12 years ago, so it's always been Bridgestone to me. But I was shocked at first. I was like, "Damn, James then hooked me up with giving me a Nashville show," but it was just a nice little happenstance.
Yeah, it is interesting that that I forgot that was gone. I was like, is that still around? Like you said, it's the Bridgestone Arena now. So we are we're live and we're going. It's Undertaker and Kane versus the Dudley Boys. 2 weeks ago on a SmackDown, the Dudley Boys beat the Big Show and Billy Gunn for a number one contender spot to the WWF titles, and we haven't seen Kane in almost a month. He's been injured since SummerSlam 01, ever since that cage match with DDP and Canyon. So this is the first time that he's been wrestling, and he has that infected elbow. He's had that infected elbow for a long time, and I think it even gets worse, or like he goes down with even more injuries due to the elbow as well.
Yeah, it looked like he had some extra padding on that elbow. And, we'll get into it, James, but Gruney, there's so many titles here. It's like title overload. It felt like every match on Raw tonight was for some type of title.
So Devon and Kane start off, elbow to Devon, sidewalk slam to Devon, and a flying elbow. Tag to Taker, shoulder tackle to Taker, old school to Bubba. Leaping clothesline by Taker, double suplex and a what's up bomb to Kane. Bubba goes to work on Kane's elbow. Power bomb by Kane, tag to Devon and Taker. Backdrop to Devon. The referee goes down. Then Chronic come out with Steven Richards. Chronic slam Kane into a table, and then the Undertaker tries and gets distracted by this. The Dudleys give a 3D to Taker for the win, and we have new tag champions. So the Dudleys are now your WWF Tag Team Champions. I gave this 2 1/4. It was fun, fast paced, and a little surprised, but they had to enhance the Chronic storyline with the Undertaker. So what better way than have Chronic cost Undertaker and Kane the tag team titles to the Dudley Boys. So 2 1/4.
Yeah, I went 2.5. Gruney, I was shocked with when they hit what's up and no one reacted. So you can tell the Dudleys are actually heels, and they don't really care about them. Of course, like when we saw the table come out, I was like, someone's going through it. I didn't anticipate Chronic putting Kane through it, so that was nice. But Chronic's not long for this world, Gruney, so don't get too attached.
No, I wouldn't get attached either, and I can't wait to go over to watch Unforgiven with my guests, and we'll see what happens to them as well. Shane arrives to WWF Raw, and he runs into Steven Richards and Chronic, where Steven Richards introduces Chronic to him, and it's like, well, why didn't you do that like 2 weeks ago when they debuted? Like, you're saving this now for the intro. It's like, well, why didn't you just give them more time and stuff too? So that's a little weird. But then Shane says, "Oh, well, thank you guys," and he offers them a WCW Tag Team title shot at Unforgiven. So they take that, and then Lance Storm is backstage complaining about Lita wearing a thong. Hurricane comes in, and he needs a new sidekick. So Shane McMahon getting introduced to Chronic, and he gives them a WCW title shot, a tag title shot at Unforgiven versus Undertaker and Kane. And then we have the Hurricane saying he needs a new sidekick.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of WCW wrestlers that weren't used, like we talked about, Hurricane is used very well, and that I like that a lot. Lance, for him, like my peak for me in the big two was him in Team Canada. I thought he was great as, just that, but he never really gelled well in WWF. But I'm interested to see who Hurricane is going to get for a sidekick.
Yeah, he says it's not Ivory, and he needs someone that's pure who he can take away the purityness. So, which I thought was hilarious. He's like, no, Ivory's not pure enough. I need someone else. So,
yeah, which I thought was pretty funny.
I always like how he does the sound like when he flies away too. That's hilarious as well.
Well, what's great, Gruney, is like the wrestlers even react to like the whoosh sound, which is just awesome. It's
like,
a nice
where'd
little,
he go?
Yeah.
Stone Cold arrives and sees RVD on his couch. RVD is just straight up chilling. It's like, yo, what's up, Steve? And so like Stone Cold's like, what the hell are you doing? Get off my couch. This is my couch. So very cool of RVD to be sticking it to Stone Cold in a way. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna chill on your couch, man. RVD asked why he threw RVD off the stage. Austin said it was to help RVD and that they're cool. So Stone Cold was offering to help RVD retain the hardcore title. I have to think that if the terrorist attacks didn't happen and SmackDown went as planned, there'd be some like animosity like storyline between Stone Cold and RVD here.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seemed like you talk about someone who's over, Gruney. This man is over, and I really wish he would have had the rocket strapped to him here. I do love how Austin's like, I was just giving you a helping hand, and he's like, whatever, man, we're cool. And then like RVD's like, people are coming up to me asking me questions about how to do this and that in the alliance. So definitely setting the stage for maybe RVD to take over the alliance and with Austin's paranoia.
Oh yeah, well, like he's like, yeah, people are coming after me, man. They look at me as a leader, and he's like, well, enough of that. I'm the leader here, and he's like, yeah, but you got to focus on Kurt Angle. He's like, I can do both, and he's like, tell me who said. He goes, nah, man, I better not. He goes, you better tell me. So Stone Cold is getting into like his own mind, saying that RVD's trying to be the leader, but it's like, nah, man. People are just coming up to me and stuff too. It's no big deal, but to Austin, it is a big deal because he's taking the Alliance guys under his wing.
Yep.
Now we have Jeff Hardy versus Lance Storm. Drop kick to Lance's back, baseball slide and running clothesline to Lance, backbreaker to Jeff, backdrop by Lance, kick to Lance's face by Jeff, whisper in the wind to Lance. Jeff lands a corkscrew moonsault, super kick by Lance for a 2 count, somersault plancha by Jeff. Lance counters the swanton. Lance counters the swanton by getting the knees up and rolling out of the way. Then Storm counters a hurricanrana into a Boston Crab for the submission win. So your winner is Lance Storm by submission. Really good. I gave this 2.5. This was very good, and I was actually surprised that Lance Storm got the win. So WWE still sees a lot in Lance Storm. He just has to find his gel on what makes him look good. But this is a very good surprise win here for Lance Storm. So 2.5 I went.
Yeah, I actually went 3 stars on this, Gruney. I guess because I've been watching shitty wrestling for Russo, where everything's like 3 to 4 minutes. So I was a little excited with that. But I liked the how Lance Irish whipped Jeff Hardy to the and he started working over his back there. I thought that was very nice. But like you said, that ending sequence is so smooth. Like Hardy goes up for the swanton, and Lance gets his knees up, then they're on the turnbuckle, and Jeff tries the top rope hurricanrana, but like Lance just like reverses it and puts him in a half crab. It was a shocking ending. And I like stuff. I like when matches don't always end with like a finishing move. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Be something else where they catch me by surprise. So I thought that was very cool. WWF at this time definitely does not do this.
No, they don't really do like submission moves anymore. They just do like straight finish or pinfall moves.
Yeah.
So now Shane is backstage asking Steph why she is booking herself and Test in a handicap match again from last week's Monday Night Raw. Shane shows her like what could have happened, but Steph goes, "No, I was fine." Steph's like, "I'm going to take down The Rock for you and Booker T." So she really wants to do this to help her brother out. Taz comes in and says the Alliance has shown him no respect. Shane says he has a match tonight, and it is Taz versus... Oh, well, he doesn't say it, though, but he says he does have a match tonight, so we'll get there when we do get there. And then we have Sean Stasiak versus Perry Saturn. A clothesline to Perry. Stasiak goes to work on Perry. Drop kick to Stasiak, belly to belly, and a springboard drop kick to Stasiak. Stasiak falls on his face, and Perry gives him a fisherman suplex for the win. I went a star and a quarter. It was fine, and Stasiak was showing a lot of offense, but again, he does that goofy fall on his face thing, and Perry gets the win here. So star and a quarter.
Yeah, I didn't even rate this match a star, Gruney, because let's just put it the same way, because this was just a nothing match. I will say, from watching WCW in 99, Perry Saturn is so smooth in the ring. It's something like you don't realize, but like he has a nice springboard drop kick, and just his super kick is nice. Like everything about him is just like so crisp. It's awesome. But the next angle, I can't believe. I was so happy when I realized what show this was, Gruney. So take us to the next angle.
Yep. Terry and Raven appear on the screen. They found Moppy, and then Raven and Terry put Moppy in a wood chipper, and Raven's doing impressions of what Moppy sounds like. He goes, "Oh no, Raven, you're gonna go in the wood chipper." He goes, "Moppy, no, I wouldn't." "Oh wait, yes, I would." Just go, Raven, go! And Raven and Terry killed Moppy and put Moppy in a wood chipper, and Moppy is destroyed.
Yep, Moppy is no more, sadly.
Oh gosh! So after a month of looking and bothering Commissioner Regal and the APA to find Moppy, Terry revealed that she and Raven kidnapped Moppy and put her through the wood chipper. So Moppy is no more, like Scott said. Steph is backstage and runs into RVD. She tells RVD she's gonna fight The Rock, and RVD says, "Hey, that's fine with me. You go for it, girl." Like basically. And Steph then asks RVD to do her a favor, and that is take out Chris Jericho at Unforgiven. So he does put the hardcore title on the line this Sunday, and it's going to be Rob Van Dam versus Chris Jericho for the hardcore title. So we have two added matches. Not really a lot of filler between RVD and Chris Jericho. They faced off against each other, but there's no big buildup, where Chronic at least was beating up on The Undertaker a couple times, and they just cost them the WWF Tag Team titles. So what do you have to say about that? Rob Van Dam just giving into Stephanie's demands here, Scott.
Well, it seemed like they were flirting a little bit, because he's like, "Is there anything I can do to make you feel better?" And she's like, "Pin Jericho tonight, and I'll make you feel better." And it was just weird. Like it's like they were flirting. And I wonder, like, I'll have to see in future episodes of this show, Gruney, if this goes anywhere, because it definitely seemed like they were maybe testing the waters for a RVD and Steph couple. So I wonder if Triple H put the kibosh on that.
Well, to answer your question, Scott, I've heard that even Rob Van Dam didn't want to do it. And like Bruce Pritchard was really like acting on like, "Oh, let's do it. And I think Rob actually says, "Pick a hand." So Van Dam got mad and was like, "I'm about to punch you in the face. Which hand do you want?" And so they didn't really get into like a backstage thing, but Bruce Pritchard was really pushing for it. It's like, "I don't want to do this," you know?
Yeah. It's very strange.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable too. Like, out of all the people, Rob Van Dam, it's like you don't need Stephanie to bump yourself up, at least, especially Rob Van Dam. You know?
Yeah, that's so true. Like, there's no need for that.
No, there is not. So now we have Molly. She's backstage, and Hurricane comes in. He wants Molly to be his sidekick. Spike backs him off. Then Shane and Booker are backstage, and Taz comes in. Shane makes a handicap match. It's Booker and Shane versus Taz. Before we get into that, we have a WWF New York showing, and instead of it being about a superstar being there, they show the fans, and the fans were going wild and very loyal to the WWF. And I thought it was very nice how they just wanted to show the fans. They just wanted to show the fans who they are, and that they're not afraid to live in fear, and that they came out to WWF New York, Scott.
Yeah, those when everyone's being uber patriotic after 9/11, for good reason, and then they're just going over there. JR is hyping it up as much as he can. I think that's like the most people WWF New York ever had. So but the Taz thing, like, they're just like, we'll see, but Taz is a little bit of a complainer in this episode.
Yeah, so. He really is. They're trying to make him this big bad tough guy, but they're whipping him on Raw, like with Stone Cold whipping him and giving him stunners. It's like, you're making him a punk. Like, you're supposed to make him this big bad guy, but you're making him like a scared puppy dog.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So
no, we'll see what happens. Like I said, we have Booker and Shane versus Taz in a handicap match. Booker and Shane double team Taz. Taz punches Shane. Leaping clothesline by Shane. Sidekick to Taz. Taz gets bounced off the table. Shane clotheslines Taz. Suplex to Shane. Taz clotheslines both men. Taz mission to Shane and Booker. Booker then scissors kicked Taz, and a diving elbow to Taz for the win by Shane. I gave it a 1.25. Good performance by Booker, and a little bit by Shane. Like, Shane always has like those leaping elbows and stuff. Like, we know what kind of a wrestler Shane is, if you want to call him a wrestler. Taz did get a couple of moves in, but again, it's mostly like a squash, but not really, because it went a while, and Taz did get some offense in. So I gave it a 1.25.
Yeah, I went 2 stars. This is basically a squash besides like 10 seconds of Taz getting some offense in, where, like you said, he suplexes him twice and he slaps on the Taz mission on both, but the other would interrupt. This is just like an ass whooping, I don't know why they were doing this. Like, this seems like personal with Taz, where they could have had like Spike Dudley or Crash Holly or something for the 2-on-1 match, but they make it Taz, someone in their alliance. Ooh. So it makes their alliance look like a joke. So it's just, they were doing this just to fuck with Taz.
Yeah, and for Austin to be like, we don't fight within the alliance. Well, your guys are just beating up stuff, but it's okay because Taz doesn't believe Stone Cold's going to retain the title, so it's okay for them to be fighting amongst each other,
Yeah, so like that's coming up. So yeah, it's just frustrating.
Yes, it is. Coach then asks Christian if he knows where Edge is. Christian says, who cares? Christian says the IC title will be his, and he challenged Tajiri for the U.S. title here tonight. So Christian has the opportunity to be WCW U.S. title, and this is where every title, everybody gets a title basically here.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even see, like, we'll see Edge later, but I was like, oh, who's IC champ? And I didn't realize it until he said it, because, we were talking about this. Everyone's a champion. It doesn't matter. But Christian, this is when they were still saying that Christian and Edge were brothers, which I'd forgotten. I thought they had dropped it by this point, but no, they were like, where's your brother at? And he's like, who cares?
Well, it's not like they dropped the brother angle. Like, they're just like, oh, the jealous brothers after the popular one here. Not until 2002 did they really give away from the Edge and Christian thing, like where they let Christian go out on his own and Edge becomes like the main deal, the Intercontinental belt. And then like back in 2003, they go back to like the Royal Rumble there, and it's like, oh, bro, it's like, no, I'm not your bro anymore, and bam. So, like it's playing back and forth, but I think the heat up here was very, very good. Like, I love Christian here because he was a maniac when he attacked Edge. And, like, he's just being, like, a self-centered person. Like, it's all about me. It's not about Edge anymore here. So I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, he, I know Christian gets a lot of hate, but I really enjoy him.
Mm-hmm. And we have another title match here. It is the Hurricane versus Spike Dudley for the European Championship.
Another belt.
Do you remember that Hurricane beat Matt Hardy for the European title?
No.
Yeah. Well, Matt Hardy had the title ever since May, and then out of nowhere in August, the Hurricane wins because they had to give an Alliance member a title, and it was like, well, we can part ways with the European champion, so give it to Hurricane. So now he's the European champion. He's facing off against Spike Dudley. Shoulder tackle by Hurricane, takedowns by Spike, kick to Spike's face. Molly grabs Hurricane's cape. Hurricane counters the Dudley dog. Molly accidentally drop kicks Spike, and I have the Hurricane for the win. For this matchup, I went 1.25 stars. It was fun. Like, you're playing the seeds that, did she do that on purpose, or was it by accident? Did Hurricane get to her, or is she too pure to fall for the evil of the Hurricane here? So I went 1.25 stars.
Yeah, I'm there with you. It's just really a nothing match. This match felt like it was sped up. But what I did like was when Hurricane's cape fell off, and he asked Molly to put his cape back on him, which I thought was very funny. But no, it was just a nothing match, and it was over in a blink of an eye. So I usually have a bunch of notes for these things. This is only like 3 lines on my iNotes for me. So nothing.
No. Tori Wilson runs into Shane. Shane says Tori is doing a great job manipulating Tajiri. And then Michael Cole is backstage with Kurt Angle. Kurt says he will kick Stone Cold's ass and will be the WWF champion at Unforgiven. RVD says everyone was cheering for RVD last week. Kirk says everyone at Unforgiven will be cheering USA. So RVD wants to poke the bear, and he's lucky that Kurt Angle just didn't maul him to death. But RVD's got guts, just walking in on Kurt and be like, hey man, the fans like me, RVD. So more hype for Rob Van Dam, and the fans will not boo him, even if they like Kurt. It's like, well, it's RVD. Come on.
Yeah, they're not booing him at all, Gruney, and this is how you can tell Angle was trying to get the USA chants over, because he does it in the same cadence with RVD, and it works because we hear it later, and then we hear it again on SmackDown. So that was a very nice touch, and especially to strike while the iron's, hot, with him being patriotic in that time in America.
Yep. And we have the United States Championship match. It is Christian versus Tajiri. Punches by Christian, chops by both men. Power bomb to Tajiri. A backbreaker by Christian. Hurricanrana to Christian. Christian gets a chair. Tajiri missed the referee. And Christian hits Tajiri with a chair. For whatever the match is, I enjoyed it. It's 1.5 stars. I love the kicks by Tajiri, and Christian went to work on Tajiri as well. For what it was, I gave it 1.5 stars. It might be a little high, but that's what I liked about it too.
Yeah, I went 1.25 stars. I didn't like the ending, but I did love Tajiri hitting the nice handspring elbow, and then he got the tarantula on, but had to break it up because until 5 and he'd be DQ'd. And I like that Tajiri went to spray Christian with the mist. I love the mist going back to the Great Muta, and he hit the ref, as you said. I'll let you talk about the post match here, because something very cool. Oh no, never mind. That's what happens on Thursday. Disregard. You can talk about the post match now.
So there is a lot that happens in this post segment here. Edge is ready to hit Tajiri with a concerto. I mean, Edge. I spoiled it. Christian is ready to hit Tajiri with a concerto. Edge then takes down Christian, and they brawl, and the referees break it up. Then during the break, Rhino. So Tajiri and Tori Wilson are walking back up, and in the dark is Rhino just standing there, and he gores Tajiri onto the stage. So a gore from Rhino to Tajiri. Tori's like, ah! And then she just runs out of the way. Like, oh, okay, like Tori really gave it away there. So it's sort of weird, but not really. So and then Shane gives Rhino a U.S. title shot at Unforgiven. So another match added to the Unforgiven card. It will be Rhino versus Tajiri at Unforgiven. Scott, what do you think of Rhino, who has never worked for WCW except 2 dark matches, getting a U.S. title shot? To me, it's like, you got Mike Awesome, you have Hugh Morris, you have Kanyon, even though Kanyon was the U.S. title.
Yeah.
But again, the WWF is really putting their nickels and dimes on Rhino here, and Rhino gets the U.S. title. So Rhino still has stuff to look forward to, and still has a strong trust with the WWF creative team here.
Yeah, I wish Rhino. I think in my mind, Rhino could have been a world champion, but he gets hurt soon after, and he's out for a whole year, and it kills his momentum. But I'm okay with him getting the U.S. title here. And he actually, when he gored Tajiri, I'm pretty sure Tajiri gets a concussion because his head smacks the grate, like on the entrance ramp. So I'm okay with that. But I just, like you said, like, it'd been cool to put Mike Awesome in the spot or something, because he could have just like destroyed Tajiri and left him laying with a power bomb. But they've already diluted WCW so much that they had to bring in the Alliance so they can have like a whole thing, which I hate the name of the Alliance, but because even when they show the Alliance, they still have pictures of WCW and ECW. But it's really weird that they had 2 spears go right there, even though Edge didn't give one, but he did come in and broke up the 1-man concerto that he was going to do. But yeah, I'm okay with Rhino. Like I said, there's another world out there, Gruney, where he's like a 6-time WWF champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Mike Awesome had full backup from the WWF, and WWF knew how to use Mike Awesome too. In a world, right?
Yeah, I don't know where they dropped the ball with that. WCW did too.
If ECW brought back like the television title, again, it's adding another title. If they brought one title, have it be that title and give it to Mike, or Just Incredible, somebody.
Yeah, you're naming people that I've forgotten that were even in the Alliance.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yes. Because again, when you see that cafeteria image, you're like, oh, he's still in it? Oh, they're still around. Even Chuck Palumbo, who we haven't seen since that cage match with Undertaker and Kane, when they lost the WCW tag team titles, is still there hanging around. But no Sean O'Hare.
Yeah, I always thought, Gruney, I like the Natural Born Thrillers, and I thought Sean O'Hare and Jindrak were going to be like WCW main eventers, and they might have been, but they went out of business before we could find out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So now we have in our semi-main event is Stephanie and Tess versus The Rock. Rock pulls Steph off the apron, belly to belly throw to Tess, tilt-a-whirl slam to Rock. Steph grabs Rock. Pump handle slam to Rock, DDT to Tess, clothesline to Rock, tag to Stephanie, a rock bottom to Tess, but Stephanie distracts the ref, rock bottom to Nick Patrick, Rock lays out Shane, a big boot to Rock, a scissors kick by Booker T, and an elbow by Shane. And then to add an icing to the cake, a bookend to The Rock, and then to add insult to injury, Stephanie covers The Rock for the win. For this matchup, 2.25 I went, because even though there's the finish is wonky, but you had to, because like it's the WCW getting one over on The Rock and it's Booker getting one over. Tess did a great job in the match working with The Rock, and just the storyline of, oh my God, Stephanie just pinned The Rock and they got one over on The Rock. Very, very good. 2.25 here.
Yeah, I went 2.5. I did like how Stephanie would try to tag in the ring, but Tess would ignore her at first. And then like finally, like when they Tess takes out The Rock, he tags her in and tries to like so she could pin, but then The Rock gets up and Stephanie tags out. And I loved how Rockman dove under the big boot and hit the rock bottom, but the ref was talking to Steph. And then I said that the rock bottom Nick Patrick for the quick count at Starrcade 97. And I liked how The Rock said, just bring it to Stephanie, and she tried to leave, but he just threw in the ring. And then it just turned into a mugging, with the WCW guys, because it's a 2-on-1 match at Unforgiven. But yeah, I mean, Stephanie pinning The Rock was pretty interesting. I didn't see that coming, but can't get heat on the wrestlers. Got to get it on Stephanie, who can't even wrestle. So
yeah. But again, Steph said she wanted to prove it, that she was going to help Booker and Shane soften up The Rock. And, well, she really doesn't, but they do. So we'll see what happens at Unforgiven here. RVD tries to knock on Stone Cold's door, but the door's locked, and Stone Cold goes, I know it's locked, I'm busy. And RVD tries to listen to see what Stone Cold's doing, which was kind of weird. I don't understand this segment at all.
It was just like RVD getting underneath Austin's on his nerves, because he says, I'll see you out there, because he keeps knocking and Austin won't let him in. Then he knocks. He's like, all right, man, I'll see you out there. And it's just piss him off, which, it's pretty fun, because that's RVD, is funny in that stuff.
RVD is, and he makes it he makes it so funny. It's like a child. It's like, I just want to say hi. It's like,
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yep. So this is our main event. It's Kurt Angle and Chris Jericho versus Stone Cold and RVD. Crossbody by Jericho to RVD. Austin Angle brawl. Jericho slams Austin into the steps. Chops to Austin. Chops to Jericho. Missile dropkick by Jericho. Crossbody by Angle to RVD. Spinebuster to RVD. RVD kicks Jericho to the outside. Austin throws Jericho into the table. Spinning kick to Jericho. Sleeper hold by Austin. Tag to RVD. A facebuster to RVD by Jericho. Tag to Austin and Angle. RVD accidentally kicks Austin. Belly to RVD. RVD saves Austin from the ankle lock. Walls up Jericho to RVD. Austin hits Jericho with the ring bell. A spinebuster to Angle, and then Angle counters the stunner and gives the Angle slam to Austin for the win. For this matchup, I went 2.75, Scott.
Damn, Gruney, I went 3 stars. You're a hard rater on this. Damn, I thought this was nice. I liked how it started on the outside, then they worked their way in. I loved how Jericho and RVD tried to do enziguris to each other and dodged them. Then Jericho hit one. And then when Angle's in the ring, he's talking trash to Austin, and Austin just drops to the floor. But no, I liked how Austin grabbed the ring bell and hit Jericho. Austin's the only one that seems to using the ring bell. But I liked when Austin hit the spine buster and then went for the stunner and Angle reversed to the Angle slam. It was so smooth. Angle is so good, Gruney. It's dumb how good he is with this. But no, makes me look forward to what happens on at Unforgiven. But we have SmackDown here, and unlike now where we have the brand split, that is not the case here.
No, it is not, and I can't wait to see what happens at Unforgiven too. And it's interesting that he pinned Austin instead of making him tap out too. So Angle has an advantage over Austin. He's pinned him a couple of times. So Austin better be afraid because Angle will stop at nothing to bring back the WWF title to its proper place in the WWF, and who better than Kurt Angle to do so?
Yeah, I mean, like, he is, like, he, outside The Rock, like, he is, like, the main, he's one of the leaders for the WWF right now, because you got, like, Undertaker and Kane and the tag team stuff. Jericho, is not really main event Jericho yet. That would come, but, like, Angle, he's doing great, and, especially with, he's got the patriotic stuff going around because they were chanting the USA, USA. So, interesting to see what happens on Sunday, but we got to get to SmackDown first on that Thursday.
Oh, yes, we do. And this is Smackdown September 20th, 2001. We're in Memphis, Tennessee, and we're at the Pyramid. I thought the Pyramid was a cool building. I mean, obviously it's in the shape of a pyramid, like with the arena inside. And this was home to, I believe, also St. Valentine's Day Massacre in 1999 as well.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yep. So it's got history. I mean, Tennessee's a very good, popular wrestling state.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you have the USWA with Memphis
Jerry
and everything.
Lawler. Yeah. I forgot. I was like, oh, why is Memphis? Like, oh, it's Jerry Lawler's backyard too. I was wondering if King was backstage here. There was a lot of talks if Jerry Lawler was ready to come back, and I think here when they went to Memphis, they started like saying hello again and trying to talk and see if they could bring him back. So we'll see what happens if King does come back here. There was also talks of him being the one to come in for WCW with Tony Schiavone or Scott Hudson too. So a lot of mishmash talks with Jerry the King Lawler here.
Yeah, I think Jerry was actually going to come in if WCW stayed around. So sadly, that was not the case. Was not meant to be.
Yeah, and like it's weird because I can't see Jerry Lawler in 2001. He left at the right time. I've said it before. Paul Heyman came in at the right time, and Jerry Lawler left at the right time.
Yeah, it's just so crazy how that was nice.
Stone Cold comes to the ring. Austin says he will not be disrespected, says he won't forgive Kurt Angle for all the stuff that Angle has done to him, such as kidnapping and, pushing him in the swimming pool. Austin says he will beat Kurt Angle at Unforgiven. He says he will make Angle cry. He'll make Angle's whole family cry and make Kurt cry. He's going to whoop his ass in front of his mom and his brothers. And then out of nowhere, Austin says, I got to get the business with somebody, so I got to call somebody out. And everyone's thinking, it's Kurt. Austin calls out Tori Wilson, who is petrified to death,
Yeah,
Austin, yeah, go ahead.
This is a little uncomfortable, Gruney. I will say at the start with I love how Austin comes out and says he won't be disrespected by 15,000 jackasses, which I thought was nice. But then I'll let you get to the end of it. But they could have cut this middle part out right here, and it would have been a great angle. But I have my problems with it. Well, I'll let you go through it.
Austin calls out Tori for hanging out to Jerry and costing Canyon the United States champion versus to Jerry. Then to Jerry comes out. But before he does, Tori's literally on the verge of tears. You're pathetic. What? You gonna cry? You gonna cry? Even Austin thinks the women are Kurt Angle, and he's making Kurt Angle cry. But he's making poor defenseless Tori Wilson cry over nothing. That draws to Jerry out. To Jerry comes out, but Austin beats him down. Then Kurt Angle comes out. Angle beats on Austin, but out of nowhere, Taz stops Angle and gets Angle slammed. Austin then throws Kurt into the ring post and throws him in a couple more times. Then he hits him with a chair. And then Austin rips up the mat, exposing the concrete underneath. Austin then pile drives Kurt Angle onto the concrete here. So a scary callback spot to when Austin got pile driven in 1997 because Austin could not feel a thing. He finished the match, but then he's like, I can't feel a thing. I don't know what's going on. So then JR runs out with Sergeant Slaughter and the whole security team and everything. And he's like, I can't feel a thing, JR. And JR is looking at Austin like, look what you've done. And so that all happens. So Kurt's like, he can't move his arms or anything. EMTs come out. So then we go to a commercial. Kurt's still saying he can't move his arms or head. Kurt's then taken out on a stretcher and is taken to a hospital. Scott, wow. This was very intense.
Yeah, so if they just would have cut the Tori part out where he was yelling at her, that was very uncomfortable, Gruney. But the part where him and Angle come out, and I even liked it to Jerry brawl, but he had his ribs taped and he just destroys him. And I do one part I did actually laugh at is after Austin beats just down to Jerry, or as he calls him, Tajiri, Austin asked Tori if this was a setup. he calls her down, So I did like how Taz is on commentary and he actually puts the Taz mission on Angle to since that's Austin's in the alliance, and then Angle breaks it and just slams Taz, so Taz has just made a joke again, and that's when Austin's able to attack him and he throws him in the ring post twice, and then the pile drive on the exposed floor, and with everyone coming to check on him, JR screaming that Angle can't move his hands, and I feel spoiler alert, guys, they clean this Angle up that it means nothing by the end of the night. If you're gonna do something big, I know 9/11 happened, so you couldn't do it. But if this was your plan, if you were gonna do it the previous SmackDown and have him be out until then, that's fine. But just don't do it then. Come up with something else, because he goes from they give updates the whole night, Gruney, and then he just comes back and rips it off despite saying he can't feel his arms and legs, and they're thinking he may have a broken neck, and they just speed run this Angle, which that's one thing I like about the current day stuff with Triple H. That person would be gone for a month. It would have a meaning, but when you say this Gruney within because this whole Angle is 20-25 minutes, let's say 30 minutes, within an hour and a half, Angle's at the hospital getting x-rays and already back.
Yes, he is. You broke me on that one.
so that's a hot angle, where he does all that, but then at the end of the night it's null and void, and it's not even the main event, Gruney. It's before the main event. It's so it's just that's why the people say competition is great, because there is no competition now for WWF, and they're writing this bullshit, which we love this part, but then it's null and void in an hour, essentially.
Yes. And to make it even more weird is that there's no alliance. They don't even have Heyman on commentary. They bring Jim Ross back onto commentary. It's you really had to take Taz out for the rest of the night. You could have just gone to commercial and then just gone to another commercial after Kurt goes to the hospital, or during when they're showing everyone backstage, have Taz be oh, Cole, did you see what Kurt Angle did? And Cole be oh, you should be ashamed of yourself, Taz. Really, we needed JR to finish off the commentary night. That's even worse.
And JR was sort of taken up for Austin. He's I can't believe he did that. No, just have, like you said, Taz be doing it, and Taz be yeah, that's what you get when you mess with the alliance, stuff like that.
Yeah, this was so bad on, JR's part. Yes, oh, I hope that Austin didn't mean it. I don't think Austin did. JR was so bad here. It's not even funny.
Yeah, it's horrible. They shot this great angle, and then they shoot themselves in the foot.
So now we got to get back to wrestling, Scott. We have Hurricane and Lance Storm versus the Big Show and Spike Dudley it is announced that it's going to be a fatal four-way. I think it's elimination or it's just a fatal four-way match for the WWF titles, which the Dudley Boys hold. It's going to be the Dudleys, the Hardys, Hurricane and Lance Storm, and Big Show and Spike Dudley for the WWF tag titles at Unforgiven.
AKA, let's just throw all these people together.
Oh, yeah. Hurricane and, like I said, it's going to Hurricane and Lance Storm versus Big Show and Spike Dudley. Neckbreakers by Spike. Fireman's Carry to Spike. Hurricanrana to Lance by Spike. Tag to Big Show. Big Boot to Storm. Hurricane accidentally super kicks Lance. Ivory distracts Spike. And an Eye of the Hurricane to Spike for the win. I went 1.25. It's all right. But, to have Hurricane win twice here when you have the Big Show who should just powerhouse both these guys. A little weird here, Scott, but I'm going to 1.25. It was fun. It was fast-paced action.
Yeah, I went a star. So basically, we're in the same ballpark, Gruney. But they, I did like how they had Molly fall off the apron and Hurricane catches her, which is a nice little added touch. It's like, hey, we're, hint, hint, nudge, nudge type deal.
Then we have Molly and Ivory. They start to brawl like cat fight, and then the Dudley Boys come out and put Big Show through a table. So the Dudley Boys are trying to get one over on Spike by putting his pal, the Big Show, through a table, and it looks like the Dudley Boys family drama started back up again too. It's like, oh, we need this to start up. That ended in July, and now we're starting back. Haha, Spike, we got one over on you.
Yeah, this was it was pretty nice seeing them. I thought I was really hoping they do a 3D on Big Show, but they did the double suplex Gruney. They would have done the 3D, that would have been amazing. But no, it's just like, hey, we threw these guys in a match and they haven't done anything with each other, so let's just heat it up, and that's pretty much all it is.
Yep. Stone Cold is backstage, and like you said, they're in a cafeteria with the Alliance members. And now, Scott, let's talk about those Alliance members who you have. I mean, you obviously have Tess, who's a big part. You have the Dudley Boys, who just had put Big Show through a suplex him through a table. You got the Hurricane Lance Storm. You have Mike Awesome not doing anything, but he has his shirt off like, oh, I fought on Jacked, and I'm really jacked up about this. You have Tommy Dreamer. You have Chuck Palumbo, Chavo Guerrero, and Just Incredible. They're the guys who are just also Chavo Guerrero Jr. and Kidman too. They're there. They haven't done much in the past month, and they're just there to hang out and be a part of the Alliance and listen to Stone Cold. But they aren't given anything.
No, and one thing I did like was how the Alliance was Austin was calling a meeting, and the Alliance wouldn't look at him because they were so disgusted with what he did to Angle. But he had some good things. He said, I gave him a pile driver to give the Alliance a future, which I thought was just hey, it's so much gaslighting is what he's doing. And then he says Tajiri's going to get his ass kicked too. Just so absurd.
Oh yeah, because that's what he was. It's as menacingly as Austin is, the Alliance guys are drinking the fruit punch. I won't call it Kool-Aid. I'm going to say fruit punch. Austin's fruit punch, and the Alliance guys are taking it, and they're like, oh, he's doing it for us. So props to you, Steve. I love what you did to Kurt Angle. Even if you did paralyze him, you're still doing it for us, Steve.
Yeah, it's greatly appreciated, boss.
Yep. Well, we're going to go meet Kurt Angle at the hospital, but we appreciate what you did. Yep. So, like you said, even he said get up. He's going to beat up to Jerry because he got into the business too. And now we have Chronic versus Kai and Tai. Okay, so Brian Adams slams both guys down. Clark goes to work on Taka. Taka drop kicks Funaki into Clark for a 2 count. Pump handle slam to Funaki and an H-bomb to Taka for the win. I went a half a star. I actually gave it a star, but I'm going to drop it to a half a star. But it's a squash. But Chronic looked awesome here, just like pure dominance. I mean, you needed somebody, so it's like, get Kai and Ty. They're still around. Okay, get them for one night only and have Chronic just destroy them. But the presence and power of Chronic, even though we're not in WCW where they're cashing checks and breaking necks, still a powerful force.
Yeah, Brian, let me see if I got the name right. Brian Adams actually hits an F5 at the start of this match, which I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize that at the time. But no, this is like you said, just a squash. Like they just beat the dog shit out of him. But like you said, it's just to get the people ready to see them for Sunday, for the people who probably did not watch WCW and didn't know Chronic in the latter stages of WCW.
If they can, they're building up like, oh, can they dominate The Undertaker and Kane? Are they going to be ready after they put Kane through a table and they took out The Undertaker?
Yeah, it's like these guys have been kicking ass, so I think they'll be fine. Unconfirmed.
Yep. So then Brian Adams, so again, Chronic beats Kai and Ty. Regal is backstage giving an update on Kurt Angle when Austin comes in and wants to fight Tajiri, but Regal is like, no, you listen to me. You back off right now. Because if I was Regal, I would have been pissed off from the start that Austin gave a pile driver to Angle. Like, he waits a little bit, like he's just chilled out. But then Regal stands up to Austin and says he can either fight him or you can fight Tajiri. But Austin takes the easy way out. He wants to fight Tajiri because, like I said, he thinks Tajiri got in his business and tried to attack and set up Austin for a beatdown by Tajiri, even though Austin called out Tori. But it would have been awesome if Regal just laced up his boots to fight Austin.
Yeah, I loved Tajiri and William Regal's relationship here. And because it even goes back during the summer where they thought Tajiri was going to turn, but he saved William Regal and they hugged. So just stuff like that. But no, it was very cool, Gruney. I liked it a lot. I liked how Austin's just a bully, and when William Regal stood up to him, he was like, "Okay, I'm sorry, I'll fight Tajiri. That's all I want. He stands down so quickly after that.
Oh, yes. Regal played no games when it came to standing up to Stone Cold Steve Austin, the leader of the Alliance. Regal then says that the WWF title will be on the line, so he makes it even more crazy. Tajiri stands a chance, Scott. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, Tajiri's already, has the ribs taped.
Some bandages on him.
Yeah, it's just an ass whooping. But, hey, at least he can say he fought for the title.
Chris Jericho comes to the commentary table. He comes out as it's Rob Van Dam versus Raven in a hardcore match where the hardcore title is not on the line. So I didn't even know it was a hardcore match.
Me either.
They just said, oh, it's a non-title match. It's well, make it a hardcore match anyway.
But they always say the 24/7 hardcore rule, so it made no sense to me.
Yeah, if Rob Van Dam is the hardcore title holder, you put that title on 24/7. No ifs, ands, or buts. No non-title matches.
Yeah, exactly.
It's frustrating. So bad. Yeah. Clothesline by Raven, spinning heel kick to Raven, rolling thunder to Raven, kick to Raven's back on the guardrail. Raven hits RVD with a trash can lid and a chair. Heel kick to the chair into Raven by RVD. Terry distracts the ref. A 5-star frog splash to Raven for the win. I went a star and 3/4. Scott, I enjoyed it. It's Rob Van Dam, little kick with the chair and the trash can lid and the 5-star frog splash. But for what it was good. So in star and 3/4.
Yeah, it was just a quick match. I went a star and a half. I liked his, like you said, where he had Raven draped over the draped over like the guardrail, and he does this little jump to it. I know on Extreme Three-Way Dance they talk about that, but I can't remember the move right now. And during these matches, like JR's giving us updates on Angle. Like here is his update now, where he was like, X-rays are inconclusive. We don't know if he has a broken neck. And it's just like they're hyping this up to be such a cool thing, and then they just ruin it, and it's just incredibly frustrating.
And I think he was moving the eyes too. Like, yeah, oh, his eyes were moving.
Which is like they were moving when he left because he could talk, you know.
Perry Saturn comes out and chokes Raven.
Kill him happy.
Yeah. Raven gets Saturn with a DDT, and it's announced that it's going to be Raven and Perry Saturn in a singles match. And hear me out, Scott. I was thinking about this while I was getting ready for tonight. I think it could have been a 6-man tag match. You have like Raven, Mike Awesome, and Chris Kanyon versus Perry Saturn and the Acolytes. You know, have like Perry Saturn cry to the APA. The APA feels bad and they fight them. I don't know.
Well, no, that's a good idea because for some reason, spoiler alert, it's been announced the main event tonight is Booker T, Rhino and Test versus Rock and APA, and the APA wasn't even on Raw. So, like, no, that makes perfect sense. Throw them in there with that.
They're not even at Unforgiven.
Yeah, so...
I don't even think Test is either, yeah.
Yeah, just throw them in there, do something with them instead of, like, the fuck Raven all you're doing with them.
Raven versus Saturn, yeah. But, again, it's going to be Raven versus Saturn at Unforgiven. Now we have Edge versus Kanyon, so at least Canyon's getting some recognition.
He never even takes his shirt off. Do you notice that? Like, he just wrestles in his shirt the whole time.
I feel like Kanyon was like, I don't know, I'm out of shape or something. So
yeah,
Kanyon was really into the shirt, the MVP shirt at least, too. Or who better than Kanyon?
Yeah, the Alliance MVP. It was awesome.
Baseball slide to Kanyon. Kanyon goes into the steps. Flapjack to Kanyon. Power slam to Edge. Heel kick to Kanyon. Crossbody by Edge. Christian comes into the ring and spears Kanyon by accident. A buzzsaw to Kanyon for the win. I went a star and 3/4 here. I think it might be a little bit high, but it was all right. And good win to have Edge going into Unforgiven. Get a win for Edge as he has not been on TV for almost like 3 weeks as well.
Yeah, it's just a nice, like, to, hey, get his face out here. And this match actually has something that I really enjoy. It's when Christian runs down and he spears, like Edge leapfrogs over Christian, so Christian spears him, which I thought was nice instead of like doing the Olay thing, like they're, you know, going against bulls. So I really like the leapfrog and like to the leapfrog to the spear on Kanyon. I really like that a lot.
Mm-hmm. So now we have the Hardy Boys versus the Dudley Boys. It's our second tag team matchup of the night, where the 2 out of 4 teams in the elimination match are going to be fighting. Matt and Devon start. Double team moves to Devon. Bubba pulls Jeff to the outside. Devon goes to work on Jeff. A backdrop to Bubba. Devon misses a dive. Flying clothesline by Matt. Poetry in motion to Bubba. And a leg drop by Matt. Jeff misses a swanton. A hurricanrana to Devon by Lita. Spike stops a what's up bomb. And Matt rolls up Bubba for the win. For this matchup, I went 2 stars.
Yeah, this was a fun match. I'm right there. I'm like 2.25. Like it was like their chemistry, Gruney. Like, you know, by this point we've seen this match 100 times, but it's just so much fun to see these guys go against each other. And we have another Kurt Angle update. The feeling is back in his extremities, and he has not suffered a broken neck. But, like, I liked when Devon went to hit this what's up, but Spike pushes him off, so it was, like, revenge for earlier. But then, like, we see the Hurricane and Lance, like, super kick Spike, which is super quick, because then they cut to the front again. So, yeah, it's just they're trying to I know they lost to SmackDown, but it's like, you're supposed to be like this booking genius. There could have been other ways to go about this.
So poor Spike gets like attacked again. So poor Spike gets attacked again, and he gets attacked by like Landstorm and the Hurricane, and then Matt Hardy gets a 3D through a table. So it wasn't Big Show, it was Matt Hardy who gets 3D'd.
I'm always down to see someone take a 3D to the table, Gruney. So I was happy it was Matt Hardy.
Yep. So, I mean, the Dudley Boys are being dominant here tonight.
Yeah, they really are. They've won the titles on Raw, and they're just whooping everyone's ass. So maybe they'll defend the titles. But the way that this is, they'll probably lose it to like Hurricane and Landstorm or something. Yeah,
so we'll see what happens there. If you thought that the updates on Kurt Angle were ridiculous by JR, wait till this next segment by
Correct.
RVD. RVD finds Stone Cold and he goes, "Hey, Steve, did you hear the good news?" He goes, "What, RVD? I don't care about anything." "No, RVD, tell me." Kurt Angle checked himself out of the hospital, and RVD is just smiling like a giddy kid. He's like, "I know something you don't know, and I got something to tell you."
Yeah, you're right. It's exactly how it is.
Stone Cold is like, "What? Checked himself out of the hospital? Oh, God." Like, and RVD's like, "Yep, have a good night."
Yeah, and it's like, and the rumor is he's driving in here. And this is after when we see, like at the start of it, I love how Austin was talking to Deborah, and he says, "Well, Ty Jerry will get what's coming for him." It always trips me out how he says to Jerry's name.
Yep. And so now we have Stone Cold versus Ty Jerry for the WWF title. Both men brawl. Austin goes for the ribs. Austin runs to Jerry into the post. Spine buster to Jerry and a stunner. I went like a half a star. This was a squash like for Austin's pure dominance of Tajiri. Like if he was gonna punish Tajiri, he meant it. And he does. He really attacks the ribs on Tajiri here. I went half a star.
Yeah, this is just an ass whooping. But like it was just Squash City. Like he rips off the bandages and works over the ribs, and then like he hits the stunner, and it was over. Like Tajiri's supposed to be your U.S. champ, and he's just made a full 3 days before the pay-per-view.
Then Kurt Angle comes out.
Not even an hour later, guys.
Even an hour later, Kurt Angle comes out and he's back. And he cuts a very promo. Like, this is very, very good. Like, this was icing on, like, the cake as well for, like, what we're going to see at Unforgiven. Kurt says he won't forgive Austin. Angle calls Austin desperate and says Austin can't beat him. Kurt says he will walk out of Unforgiven the WWF champion.
Yeah, and, like, I know they sped run through this, and like I was pissed off about it. But Angle is like you said, his intensity is great in this, and it's just like through the roof. Like he's like, "I'm gonna beat your ass." Like he said, Austin's a desperate man. Says when Austin looks into Angle's eyes, Austin knows that Angle's the one man who can beat him. Then he tears his neck brace off and throws it down the ramp. So yeah, we're rocking and rolling. But like I said, it's only an hour. So
yeah. Scott, you're a Harry Potter fanatic like I am. Would you say this is like the one he feared where Voldemort feared Dumbledore?
Yeah, and he shows up at the Department of Mysteries in Book 6. Yeah, it's exactly what. Book 5, sorry.
Yeah. The one he feared. And this is very much so. Like, Kurt Angle is not backing down. You can put him down, but he'll somehow get back up, even if it's an hour later after going to the hospital and checking himself out. I bet you didn't know you could do that.
Well, yeah, and like, get an x-ray and have all that stuff back within, 45 minutes, Gruney.
Not even Tua would be allowed to play again in football after going into the blue tents.
But Angle's like, they're like, "You're okay, buddy."
Oh, yep. So now The Rock is backstage with Coach. Rock admits he got beat by Stephanie and Tess, and then he goes like, I don't know. He went into like a spew with Jerry, and like they showed Jerry Lee Lewis, and The Rock. I think this is where he sings like, "They kicked your ass and they rattled your brain. Too much of that will drive a man insane." And then he goes, "Great balls of fire." So he sings out with Jerry Lewis in the crowd, and The Rock is ready to go into Unforgiven with this handicap match here. So again, a little tick for tat here with The Rock.
Yeah, he actually does say something funny where he's like, Stephanie was on top of me, but she's on top of many men. So, he just does that, and he riffs about Jerry Lewis and says he's going to lay the smackdown on Sunday.
Yep, and like even Jericho ripped into her too. Like, Stephanie is also a hardcore champion. Movies don't count.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like that a lot. He always had some good one-liners on her.
Yep. So we have a 6-man elimination match. It's Booker T, Test, and Rhino versus APA and The Rock. Rhino and The Rock started off, surprisingly. Clothesline by Rock. Big boot to Rhino by Bradshaw. Clothesline by Rhino. Chops by Booker to Bradshaw. Fallaway slam to Booker. Shane hits Bradshaw with a chair and a scissors kick, and Bradshaw is eliminated, but he chases Shane away. So it's a clean it's a clean match now. No interference from Shane. Belly to belly to Test. Spinebuster by Farouk to Test. A gore and big boot to eliminate Farouk by Rhino and Test. So pretty fast eliminations here by the Alliance guys. But that's how they always want it. Like, The Rock doesn't need anybody. He can just do it all by himself.
Yeah, it felt like a Survivor Series where they're starting to like, oh shit, we got to eliminate some people.
But
I did like how Farouk took out Test and Booker T while walked into the gore, then Test hit the big boot. I did like that a lot.
Flying clothesline by Rock. Rhino accidentally gores Test, and The Rock DDTs Rhino to eliminate him. So you don't always need a rock bottom to eliminate someone. You can just do it by DDT. Rock counters the scissors kick. Clothesline by Test. Pump handle slam by Test for a 2 count. Spinebuster to Test. Booker stops Rock from a rock bottom. Spinebuster to Booker on the ramp. And then a rock bottom to Test for the win. He's eliminated. Booker then leaves the match and gets counted out. So
a lame finish. A lame finish.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to ask you for your rating of this match first. What do you got?
This was like a nothing match, Gruney. It's like 2.25, if that. And
okay, all right. So we're in the ballpark. I gave it 2.5, but you're right on the corner. Yes.
Like they did, like it was so frustrating, like to have this lame ass finish where it could have been so much better than it was, but it wasn't. And I know like we're having Booker T in them, but then like don't book the match against each other. Have them interfere in each other's matches. Have it be Rock and Test facing each other or something, and Booker T goes and like interrupts the match. There was no reason for this. It was incredibly frustrating.
Like maybe it could have been Rhino and Booker versus the APA for the main event.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, no, let's do this, and Rock can't lose for some unknown reason, or
but Booker can't get pinned.
I mean, it was 3-on-1. Just have them like beat the shit out of Rock and be like, how will he be able to do it with 2-on-1 on Sunday?
Yeah, they had to make the Rock stand tall for no reason. Can't have Rock lose twice.
Yeah, like it just blows my mind, buddy.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna do it from us here on the wrestling side of things. But before we go, Shift, do you have anything that you want to plug the listeners to? I know you have a lot.
Yeah, check out the Backbone Wrestling feed. We got stuff coming out almost daily. We got Logan Crossland, who is the backbone of our backbone. He does a ridiculous amount of pods a week. I think the last couple weeks ago, he was on every pod in there. He's our MVP. You can find me on Linking Up Lucha, that's on there. That drops every other Thursday. I'm also on YouTube Roulette, that drops once a month. And Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW, which goes over Vince Russo's booking run in WCW. And if you want to hop in, we're at a perfect time. We're right before Mayhem. So like we're still rocking and rolling. But thank you so much, James, for having me on. I'll have to have you on Russo in a little bit once maybe for one of the big pay-per-views.
Yeah, once you hit that 2000 range.
Yeah, once the 2000s range, I'll have you on.
Yep, nice, buddy. I'd be honored to be a part of that. That's always in my wheelhouse, as they say.
Yes.
As for me, you can mostly find me on the Place to Be Nation Wrestling feed. I have this podcast, and I also have Extreme Resurrection with Steve Riddle. We cover ECW on Sci-Fi from 2006 to 2010, where we are just getting to ECW at Survivor Series 2007, where it's going to be CM Punk, The Miz, and John Morrison in a triple threat match for the ECW title. So we'll see who appears on our next episode as the ECW champion. Also, we have a little feud going on with Kelly and Layla after Extreme Expose broke up due to The Miz. And you can also find me on the Place to Be Nation Pop Experience. I have a new podcast. It's called Whatever It Takes, a Degrassi pod. I do that with John Kesalica. We just dropped episodes 7 and I believe it's like 7 or 8, or it might be 5 and 6, where we covered Parents' Day, which is about Toby not wanting both his parents at Parents' Day because they always argue and they're divorced. And then we have the mating game where Jimmy and Ashley think they're ready to have sex, but after a health lesson from Dr. Sally, they might want to rethink things. So if you have Whatever It Takes and you enjoyed Degrassi, listen to that pod as well. Well, that's going to do it from us here on Nation Invasion. I want to thank my guest here tonight, Scott Shifflett. Scott, thank you very much for being my guest here tonight.
Always, Gruney. You know I'm always here for you if you need me.
Yep. Be prepared as we, the nation, bring the invasion.